This content is brought to you in association with my buddies over at Jam Jam Cards UK. You can find the links to the eBay store and the Facebook page in the description. Hi guys, it's Joe here from Rufioh. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. You should definitely hit subscribe and the notification bell before we go any further and you realise how fucking garbage this content is. But if this is not your first time on the channel, welcome back. And if this is not your first time on the channel, you'll be well aware that this looks a little bit weird. That is because this room is full of baby stuff right now. And I'm kind of just cramming myself into a little corner here. As you know, I've been taking a little bit of time away from the videos. But of course, something has just happened that I absolutely could not go without covering. It is, of course, the ban list. So I have it down here on my screen, so you may see me looking down a little bit. That is exactly why. 3rd of October is effective. I have seen some of the bans, and I've seen one picture of one of the unlimbs and one of the limbs, or it might be the other way around. I don't know. I just saw some pictures and I was like, crap! And I closed it down. I felt my phone going off like fucking crazy. All the boys in the tug chamber messaging about it, no doubt. So I'm still in for some surprises here, although I do know some of these, but let's see exactly what I think about the changes that have been made. And it looks like a pretty comprehensive list from the amount of cards I saw listed. So hopefully that is what exactly I've been hoping for. Hopefully a bunch of really cool unlimbs would be nice and get rid of some of the problematic cards along the way. And all going well, we'll still have Mystic Mine. Before we do get started though, on my thoughts on the ban list, if you are looking to pick up any new cards, particularly off the back of this list, check out the channel sponsors Jam Jam Cards UK. Link in the description. Use the code Rufioh15 for 15% off. There's even a good chance that I listed them for what it's worth. Maybe you can clone me or something, take some DNA off those cards. But anyway, I digress. Let's get stuck into what you're here for. So we start off with our bans. And the first off that I can see straight away at the top of the list is Fairy Tale Snow. Now this makes me kind of sad because I absolutely love Snow and I was so excited for it to come back, but it's clear that the card's probably still a little bit problematic, and that's mostly because of obviously the way it's played, and yeah, I mean, you're going to abuse it, right, if it's there. Sadly, this means that there's one less powerful card for me to use in my absolutely awesome Lightsworn strategies, but it is what it is. This card probably did need to go. In fact, it probably should never have come off in the first place. I'm sad to see it gone again, but some cards just really are hard to power creep out of this game. Honestly, the only way I can see this card coming back again at this point is in like 5 years where it's completely unplayable, although I sincerely doubt that because banish 7 cards for a free monster is absolutely insane, or if they end up with an errata, which I really hope they don't because it really does destroy the legacy of cards in my opinion. But anyway, that's enough talk about Fairy Tale Snow. Of course, I've mentioned that one first and foremost because it's my favourite. It's also at the top of the list. So let's see what else is in here. Okay, we're scrolling on down. Let's see what we get. Next up on the list is Ronan Toad, in pretty much just a hit to those sprite variants using the whole frog package. I'm grateful for this because I fucking hate frogs, and I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion because a lot of people love them out there. I really don't. So, one less frog in the world to deal with is one more happier Rufioh. Next up, it is Halka Fibrax. About fucking time we dealt with this card. It is long overdue. This should have been gone an awful long time ago. Hopefully, that means we get some of our really cool tuners back. I'd really like to see that being the case. But yeah, Christian Halka Fibrax, this card's long needed to go and definitely overstayed its welcome. And what do we have next? Let's see. Okay, we're scrolling down. Next up, it's Chaos Ruler. Yes, absolutely, this card needs to go. Once again, another card that affects my amazing Lightsworn strategy. It is definitely a bit of a joke of a fucking card, so it's about time that it went, even if I do love it personally. Now, scrolling on down, hopefully we don't see any Mystic Mines. I'm still going. And we're past the M's. Mystic Mine is not banned. Thank the fucking Lord for that. I love Mystic Mine. I do not care how much you hate it. I fucking love Mystic Mine. Okay, carrying on down. Okay, we've got one more. Red Reboot banned? I mean, this card's pretty good, but banned? I don't know. I guess it's one of those things, isn't it? You'll have people who absolutely hate it and people who love it. Yeah, I guess it is what it is. I've also noticed that there is no anti-spell fragrance on this list. What the fuck is going on? There's also been some other bans that probably should have been covered, but we'll get to those in a minute. Notably, Scythe is not on this list at the moment. That is a problem. Let's see what else is in here. Okay, on to our limits. Maybe it's been a bit too... Oh, okay, we've got 2 straight off the back. Oh, okay, we've got Blackwing Steam the Cloak back. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. That's quite a cool one. Nice to see that back again. Another one of those cards that just died for sins. Yeah, okay. Good to see it back. That'll be making for some interesting changes up in the meta. Of course, we have the new set coming out, Darkwing Blast, or whatever it's called, is coming out soon. So that will, of course, boost our Blackwings, so they'll want some more support, and this is a good example of that. I also see on here, Cyberjar. This is a card I actually really wasn't sure we'd ever see come back. Honestly, I don't think it's that insane, especially not in the modern game. It's super slow. It's going to make for fun novelty decks, so that's for sure. Okay, continuing down on our limits. Let's see what else is here. Mecha Phantom Beast O-Line, back again from the fucking sin pile that Christian Halka Fibrax caused. Yeah, I think this is fine, probably. I mean, maybe I've missed something, but I'm sure most people will agree. It's absolutely okay, I guess, being back at 1. We'll wait and see. Maybe I've got that completely wrong and missed something really obvious. Next up, let's see what else is here. Okay, we've got Substitute back to 1. That's interesting. They took away with one hand and gave back with another. Interesting to see this on here. Not sure how I feel about this because when I was playing the game before, it really wasn't much of a thing, and it's been banned pretty much the entire time since I came back. So, really don't think much of anything of that. Continuing down, let's see what else is on here. We're still going through our limits and still not seeing anything more just yet. Okay, we've got Spellbook of Judgment. I had a feeling that this might actually happen. Again, it's one of those things that I know a few people have been talking about this pretty much every single list forever, about this coming back. Do I think it's going to be a problem? Probably not. It's an interesting thing to bring back because, again, it will give us more diversity in what people are trying to play. I'm sure there's a reason they brought this back as well. I'm sure there's some sort of deck that this interacts with that they're really trying to push here. So, again, maybe I've missed something obvious, but it seems fine to me. And then next up, we've got a pointer of the Red Lotus down to 1. Yeah, this card's pretty broken. Interesting to see it at 1. It's like probably better dust shoot in a lot of ways, which I never used to think until I had a few conversations with far better players than I am, that's for sure. Yeah, 1, whatever. I'm not really sure it was a problem card, but it's a very strong one. Next up are semi-limits, and, well, nothing's changed there, and rightfully so. I don't think any of those cards need to move. I probably would have just put Desires back to 3. I really don't think it's a fucking problem, but here we are. And then off to our no longer on the list. Okay, we've got Dynamite Knight. This card needed to come off ages ago. It's really not a problem. Ben 10. Yeah, I fucking hate that deck, so I'd really rather it stayed on there. Shooting Riser Dragon. Okay, fair enough. Fusion Destiny. Interesting. Okay, there's quite a bit here. Nadir's Servant, yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think it's doing anything. Light Stage, this absolutely is awesome. I love Trickstar. Again, another degenerate fucking deck. Of course, I like it. Yeah, I think Light Stage is a great card. I really like this card. It's nice to see it again back off the list and available, making Trickstars playable again. Will they actually do anything? Unlikely, but a really cool deck that can be sort of integrated with other engines and really work quite well. And then finally, we've got Wall of Revealing Light. There's a lot of changes here. There's definitely some stuff that hasn't been covered here. But overall, I think this list is actually really, really cool. I would have liked to have seen Anti-Spell Fragrance go away entirely. It's a shame that it is still here. Most people will have expected Mystic Mine to go. I'm personally glad it's not gone. I fucking love Mystic Mine. On top of that, we've still got Scythe floating about, which really is a bullshit card. It's a shame that we haven't seen that taken care of, but you can't have everything your way. Of course, I'm sad to say rest in peace, Fairy Tale Snow and the Chaos Dragon. I love both of those cards, so it's, again, a bit of a shame to see that, but, you know, what can you do about it? It's also interesting to see that the Adventurer package wasn't touched in any real way at all, so that's a bit of a surprise. We haven't really touched any of the big decks in any meaningful way. Maybe the changes with the Toads makes a bit of a difference to Sprite, but for the most part, it looks like those two decks will continue to boss the top of the meta until we get some new cards released. But overall, I think this is a relatively interesting limited and forbidden list change. I'm not sure how seismic much of this is. I would have liked to have seen more cards come off, but again, I'm a big advocate for there's a lot of cards that just don't really need to be on there anymore. But overall, we've seen an injection of some life. Nadir's Servant coming back off, making Dogmatica probably a touch more playable than it has been in the past. Having that at 3 is pretty big. Also, Trickstar Light Stage coming off the list entirely is really cool as well. The likes of Cyberjar, maybe injecting a bit of degeneracy back into the format, which of course I'm always a big fan of. But again, some other cards that are questionably untouched, the likes of Call by the Grave, which many people had liked to have seen gone, or at 3, depending on which camp you're in. Red Reboot, being hit feels a little bit random, but I'm sure there's a logic behind all this. And again, cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance, Scythe remain untouched, despite the fact that they are some of the most degenerate cards in the game right now. But overall, we've seen the fall of the likes of Halkid Fibrax, we've seen some tuners come back, and we've seen an injection of fresh meat back into the format. So hopefully we get a bit more creative deck building in ways that can challenge Sprite and tier elements at the top of the list. But anyway, that's enough waffling on from me. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, and hopefully by virtue of the fact that you made it this far into the video, you've enjoyed it enough to hit subscribe, or at least hated it enough that you couldn't possibly look away. Thank you very much for coming along. Again, my content is drip feeding at the moment because, again, I have a baby due yesterday, so she's going to be here any second now, and that is going to take some time out of my life, but I'm looking to get back into things, and I will definitely be back, no doubt about it. So make sure you hit the red subscribe button so you don't miss out when that happens. Maybe even the notification bell so you definitely don't miss out on the next upload as well. Once again, a massive thank you for coming along. I do genuinely appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.